We're joined by Chief Jeff Ojinika, who himself is a former member of the National Assembly. He's also the National Chairman, Coalition for Change. Thank you for coming on this morning. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nigerians.
So, when you listen to these several reports of what's going on, you hear phrases like insurrection, Libya, anarchy, and then people could be of the impression that, wait a minute, is it that what is about to happen, the protest, that is what it's going to be about? Or maybe they have information that regular Nigerians don't have, because some of us thought, we thought it was just supposed to be just a mere protestation about the rising cost of living. What do you think of all of this?
Yeah, thank you, Chamberlain. I'll first and foremost start by saying that peace, they say, is not absence of war. And what makes a society stable is not absence of conflict, but the ability of the society to manage the conflicts that arise therein. Once the society is dynamic enough to be able to manage conflicts that arise in that society, you can say that that society is stable. And we have our ground norm. Our ground norm is the Constitution. There are constitutional rights granted to citizens of the country that nobody at any point in time, whether being it military, being it government, being it, can take those rights away from. So the right to self-expression, the right for people to possibly express themselves, those rights are enshrined in the Constitution. And at any point, a government tends to trample on that right. It is now heading towards dictatorship. Is
there an indication that that is about to happen or has been happening?
The situation in fact, I'm amused and at the same time disappointed with the way in the trend of events, because when you see the reaction, it is not just the action. The reaction, the people have given an indication that almost 3 weeks notice or 1 month notice that around so time will be demonstrating about bad governance that we have in the country. One is that there's a failure of intelligence. One is that if you have a good intelligence network, before the release of that information, the intelligence would have known that there's a bottled up anger in the system and in the society, and they would have been in the best position to even nip it at the bud in such a way as address those issues and concerns or respond to them in such a way that that situation will not even arise. But our intelligence, we have NIA, we have police, we have DSS, we have them in all the local governments in this country. They've not been able to come up with a noticeable intelligence to show that around so time that these things will happen.
Well, I think yesterday the DSS put up a statement that they have uncovered some persons about these protests. That is what you mean?
That is the usual thing that you will expect. That's not the kind of intelligence we are talking of. The intelligence is the type that they would have come up with even before this time. The people that are more or less say they want to protest have given a notice. It's for the intelligence to have known who are they and possibly try to see how they can engage them. What are these issues? What are the issues that you are trying to have? Because the issue of good governance, everybody in every society, everybody clamors for good governance. And there are indicators. There are indicators of good governance. Things that if you do, they will know that that's good governance. So have you tried to, and about 5, 6 indicators, have the government in any way tried to come up with those issues to show that there is good governance? Is it the kind of reports you hear every day? Is it the type that gives you an indication that there's good governance in the country, where 40-something billion can miss in a ministry? If somebody can steal money belonging to the poorest of the poor, then know what will happen to the money belonging to the privileged ones.
Have you seen the demands of the protesters, of the planned protests?
Well, everything is on the media. That online, since that you get to hear people talking, but everything revolves about good governance. And good governance, so to say, is if you have the essence of good governance is that it must reflect on the life of the average person.
Did you see the part where they were talking about something like Tinubu must go and things like that?
You know, all those things you can liken to side talks. Or some people, they can also be a third columnist in this issue. You know, people, because the essence, some people can come to brand the such protests as if it is issue of political. They try to understand it that it is political.
Isn't it?
If hunger is political, so if you get, I mean,
to the extent
if you get to the market now,
to the extent that the former vice president Atiku Abubakar did put up notices indicating his support for this kind of protest, how should people interpret that?
If you get to the market today, in Abuja here, there's a very small on the airport road, Goza Market. If you get there, you can, if you enter with 50,000 to shop for the family, by the time you finish, you feel robbed. You feel as if somebody robbed you. You can hardly put food on the table of the people. So there is hunger, there is starvation. It is palpable.
Yeah,
what I'm asking is, in the air.
What I'm asking is what I'm asking is, are they not giving the government or the authorities at least some something to hold on to by saying this is political, when politicians now begin to add their voices, say, yes, we want this, we support that? Shouldn't they allow it just take its natural course so they can really say, look, yes, people feel very hard about the economy.
Whether you're a politician, you are hungry. Whether you're a traditional ruler, whether you're a priest, everybody shop from the same market. Everybody is affected by the state of the economy. The Chamberlain, what we really expect is that there's a ruling party. In those good days of the ANC, I was surprised that the National Assembly went on recess at this critical moment. What the ANC usually do, the ANC as a political party will arrange for town hall meetings at all levels. If you are a councillor, they will take you back to your constituency for you to go and give account of your stewardship. What you have done is not the type that they do here, where people go, eat prepare bags of rice and not rest of them, go and call dancers and they will go and dance around. No. At every level of representation, ANC organizes it. And by the time they take you back to your constituency, you will know whether they are going to bring you back again or not. And I can tell you how many of our members now can ordinarily, without a guided or a guarded audience, go back to confront their constituents in the face of the realities and in the face of what we have in the country.
So even though they tell us that they do, you don't think that that is the case?
What they are doing is a jamboree. It's not the type that ANC organizes. ANC will organize it. They are the ones, it's not the member that will organize it. Mm-hmm. The party will organize it and take you to go and meet with the level of representation. If you're a councillor, they will take you to the ward. If you are a state assembly member, they take you to state assembly constituency, where you go and give a detailed account of what you have done with the mandate and the votes they gave to you. If you're at any level, and they run a parliamentary system, so even the prime minister, comes from a constituency or something like that before you are finally elected as the leader of the party. So it is very, very important, and one of the cardinal of good governance is there must be accountability. There must be transparency. Do you understand? There must be transparency, accountability. These are very critical rudiments of. So there are certain things that people are expecting a reaction. It is not just this action. What pains me and what makes me want to like shed tears for this nation, as if there's no future, is that the way they're responding. You see in Lagos, they're saying we'll bring out there will be a poll ceremony. In the FCT here, they're saying that they will give certificates to traditional rulers. In order, when there are, it's just like when you go to where there is a plenty sheet and you start spraying perfume. It's a waste of, instead of addressing the very critical issues. And those critical issues is that, can they convert it to, we are in a farming season now. What has this government, what have they done to increase food production? Rather, you see the response. Government said, we are going to import rice, we are going to import maize, we are going to import this. It will take them like 2 months to import those things for them to come into the country. At least 6 weeks, if you for it to come and clear before you start the distribution chain. Whereas there are maize that you can produce in less than 70, 80 days, 90 days.
Yes, 90
rice.
90 days is still 3 months.
Yes.
So, I mean,
so you can do locally here.
Recently, we had a conversation with the Minister of State for Agriculture, and he said that we must bear in mind that what they're trying to address is a current shortage that they have planted, but it's not going to materialize immediately. But in the meantime, people need to eat. So they have given this a 150-day window, to bring in food without tax, so that they can bring down the prices of food in the market.
So where did he tell you that they have done all those things? They have. We have never. Today in the market, you go to markets in a bag of fertilizer here costs the cheapest one is about 45,000. There are ones if it is 15, those ones are up to 56,000.
Let me know.
And it is outside the range of the average farmer.
I don't want to derail your thoughts, but I have to interrupt because there are a number of things that you have said. You talked about hunger in the land, which is indisputable. A lot of people, yes, understand that. Even if you're not currently hungry, the fact that the prices at which you used to buy things is not what you normally buy them, is everybody that is feeling it. So, but some people will say that for that to be galvanized, for the hardships that the people are currently facing to be galvanized into a protest takes some organization. What government has been saying is that they can't seem to speak with the leaders of this particular protest. Do you think that while some people have said that, look, this is a tactic that, the people have decided to adopt so that their leaders cannot be compromised and so that, their leaders also cannot be detained. Do you think that as a double-edged sword in the current environment that we're in, it's too dangerous to play with?
Your question is very rhetorical, and I would like to. It has always been because of the government approach. In the past, what you have seen, and that's why maybe people are hiding their identity and all whatnot. What you have seen in the past is where people come up, they will sponsor talks to go and attack people. It has always happened severally in Abuja. And the police will be there seeing talks, attack people who are protesting, something that, is the right of an average Nigerian. That is right to self-expression. They are not there, they are not controlling the pulse, but at least they can say that you are doing it right or you are not doing it right. So the things that we're expecting from this government, and that was starting from the first day of this government, because after election, the president would have been given enough brief as to the economic situation in the country. He would have had intelligence about the economic situation in the country. What one expected is that the cost of governance should have been reduced by at least 70%. And when I mean this, you will still see government officials, ministers, everybody using SUVs, even DPOs are using convoys of about three jeeps with
DPOs?
So immigration, everybody in this country, local government, everybody we want to see that By the time in 1998, in 99, the military government handed over to the civilians. The governor in Imo State, and I was in the State Assembly in 99, they handed over, it was 3 cars, 504, the pilot vehicle, the military or the governor's car, and then the speaker. These are the things, or if you now have maybe media, these are the vehicles you see in the governor's convoy. But today, what do you see? If you see the level of ostentation, the level of, it doesn't depict our state of economy, that people cannot eat. These are abject realities that people expected. The people that came close to it is the National Assembly, that say they are cutting their salary by half. But you know, in that case, it's cosmetic. Because the issue people are complaining about the National Assembly is not with their salary, but with the allowances. That's where they would have gone. And they would have gotten it right. And if they had done that, they will insist that other people will follow. So people are expecting some very stringent, radical measures on the part of the government to show. So it is not in the face of the abject poverty that we have, that issues, what you hear in the debate is we're buying a presidential jet, buying yacht, buying all this, all those stories. And then especially one of the major issues now, we have never been able to solve our power crisis.
Yeah, Mr. Ojinika, I'm not disputing any of the issues which you have raised. I mean, they're completely valid. However, do you have your own fears or any anxiety about the fact that, no known group has come out? I mean, in those days, if there was a price increase in petrol, for instance, the NLC, we understand, will go on protest. Students will protest. Usually they will have an association, but so far so good, especially since, I say it was an experiment with the NSAS protest. There's been no group of people who will say, we are the ones putting this together. There's been no central organizing factor for this. Does it give you a bit of anxiety?
A lot of apprehension, anxiety. Honestly, because there are, the other day there was this thing going on in terms of how you can do protests to make sure that it is not overtaken by hoodlums. The fundamental issues that you must have to have. But I said is a failure of intelligence. Most of the things they are doing online. But the government has a control of it. They have a way. If we have intelligence, if our intelligence, the NIA, the kind of money they're spending at the security level, NIA, NSA, civil defense, with all the immigration, all the things, all the security networks, by now they should have been. We have
but they have
the
come out with
Communications
something.
Commission. They would have.
They have come out with something. I'm taking a look at what the DSS released yesterday. DSS counsels against planned protests in Nigeria. It talks about how while peaceful protest is the democratic right of citizens, the service has confirmed a sinister plan by some elements to infiltrate the protest and use it to cause chaos and extreme violence in the land. It has also identified the reason behind the protest to be political. I mean, there was a very long statement, released by the DSS yesterday, and they also gave their own numbers, which is usually very rare. They gave numbers to say it will be available to members of the public who may wish to contact the service. That's the statement of the DSS as released by them yesterday.
All communications in this country, they have access to it. All communications, when I mean WhatsApp, telephone conversations, all the rest of them, through the media, through which all these things go on. The intelligence, the security network, they have access to it. So, and that's why I said, if they have not been able to decode the source of all this, it's a failure of intelligence. Intelligence is not carrying a gun and moving about. The National Communication Commission is there, the Galaxy backbone, the source through which every communication comes into this country.
Are you saying they should be listening on people's conversations? Is that what you're suggesting?
I said they have access to it.
You're saying they do already.
They have
Okay, so
they have access.
So this is what they have come out with. This is what they had. They said they have reviewed that is a sinister plot. So should we dismiss this?
Since you said they have access, so maybe from the access,
so
they got this.
Well, the thing is that this is the normal, traditional thing, information we hear from those quarters, when issues like this. But the most important thing is that we will want them to come up. I want a situation where, the president, they took the bull by the horn when the 36 governors of this country have been filtering away with over 25%, more than 25-30% of the money going of the federation account. That's the money going to the TT of government. It has been their private pocket money that they have never accounted for. They had to use a judicial process to compare.
Even though the governor say, some of them, we heard them say, we have never touched local government funds. It's been going to them.
Well, some people, one of the Nigerian politicians have always been created. They say, I don't like money. So it is one of such saying. If the governor has never touched the local government money, then nobody has touched it.
Ayo, please go ahead. I don't know if you touch, if you like money.
Thank you, Chamberlain. Well, Mr. Ojinika, let me ask you point blank: do you support this protest, this impending protest? Can you hear me, Mr. Ojinika? Can you hear me now? Mr. Ojinika, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Do you support this protest?
Whether I support
the protest.
The protest.
Yes.
Every Nigerian is protesting. The average Nigerian in the street is protesting because our stomachs are protesting. You can't go to people who are sick. If you're a hypertensive patient in this country now, you'll be protesting.
Okay.
Because hypertensive drugs that people used to get monthly at the rate of 1,500, you can no longer get at 15,000.
Well, I'm building up to something. Well, Mr. Ojinika, I'm building up to something. If you can hear me, just a second. My apologies.
It's not a matter of Nigerians are protesting.
Okay. Will you be coming out
the protest is on daily basis.
Will you be coming out on August 1 to join the protest?
Whether I will be coming out on August 1?
Yes.
People can protest in various forms. People can stay indoors, people can come outside, people can do all sorts of things.
You are right.
A way of demonstrating.
That is correct.
Even
people have the right to do it the way they like, but will you be coming out on that day?
Nobody. Please, I'm appealing to Nigerians, and if anybody is protesting, let it be peaceful. I don't support any protest that is not peaceful.
Okay.
If it is not going to be peaceful, it's better not done at all.
Okay. So, Mr. Ojinika, how do you propose that the protest should be conducted peacefully across the nation without being able to identify the people who are organizing it?
The security agencies should be able to give security to people who are protesting. That's the only way it will not escalate. But what we had in the past is a situation where people will come out to protest, and then hired thugs will come to attack them.
No,
and
Mr.
that's when it becomes violent.
Just a second. I mean, just to be clear. I mean,
but if people are allowed
to
it's usually by show of placards. If you have
just one moment, Mr. Ojinika.
You write them in your placards, and the press will be able to cover.
Just one moment. There's something that you said now. There's something that
the government will be expected to address those issues.
There's something that you said that I just want to be clear. I mean, the question, I think, is, clear in itself. So far, the DSS says they have been able to identify the people who are behind these, who are planning this protest. However, no name has been given. Even now, scour the internet, you can't find, the average people can't find the people who are organizing this protest. In fact, there are a number of people that say, look, the president and the leaders should talk to the organizers, but who they are is still a question to be answered. Now, when people are going to come out to protest, there needs to be some kind of leadership. So I'm asking you, how do people protest, join a protest that they can't identify the people who are organizing it?
I told you that everybody, in the average person, except maybe the 360, 109, 44 ministers, the permanent secretaries, and the directors in the ministry, you can count the number of people that may not be protesting. The rest, the average person, average entrepreneur in this country, who happens to be even contractors, will be protesting, because you can no longer go to public institutions and get contract awarded without, either buying it or being favored or doing it on behalf of some of the people in government. All right, things are so close now. The people, the contractors, everybody is in trouble.
Now, for you,
so the protest, you cannot possibly know who that person will be. It may be some of the people they have called to talk to, maybe traditional rulers, because the thing is biting everybody. So the thing is biting everybody.
All right, just this one question again. What do you see this protest achieving? Can you hear me, Mr. Ojinika?
I'm hearing you now.
Yeah. I said, what do you see this protest achieving? What are your expected outcomes for this protest?
Even without this protest taking place already, it has achieved a lot. Even without the protest taking place, it has achieved a lot. Today, I hear of a lot of, nobody has fixed, most people, except for most are programs now. If somebody is trying to arrange for a wedding, for anything, even people scheduling their flights, everybody has it from everything from 31st, no more. So it has already woken up the consciousness of the citizen. It shows that the power does not belong to the people in government. The power belongs to the citizens. This means that the office of the citizen, that is the most important office in the country, must be respected. So even without people coming out in the street already, it has kept these people to know that at least it's people that they are governing. That citizens' consciousness is already in the air. Even a small child today now knows that something is going to happen between August 1 to August 3rd. So that citizens' consciousness and awareness is there. And then for all people in government, at least it has made the members of National Assembly to say that they are forfeiting 50% of their salary. Has it not achieved much without even the protest taking place?
So it
has also made all this level of consultations, meeting with traditional, meeting with this, meeting with that, wouldn't have been done if not for this.
So, but then,
and some of these measures, being taken in the positive direction, wouldn't have been done without. So it has really evoked citizens. In fact, in some climes, where the citizens really have their rights, this is the way to go. They put the people on in such a way that they will start accounting
So are you saying then, Mr. Ojinika, just 1 second, because
the power conferred in the people in government is so much.
Can you hear me, Mr. Ojinika? Are you saying by then that with all of these achievements, with this
the only thing
awareness,
that the citizens have is this power of expression?
Okay, with this,
which they just want to use.
When you say that a lot has been achieved already, are you saying then that are you saying then that the organizers should sheath their swords, in a manner of speaking?
No, what they need to do, I believe in proper engagement. That's why if you hear my introductory remarks, I said peace is not absence of war. And secondly, that the absence of conflict doesn't mean that a society is not stable. The presence of conflict does not mean that a society is unstable. You have to manage the conflict. All the issues bothering people will be put on the front burner, and they must be addressed one after the other.
So there are a couple of things.
By now, you see the kind of issue that is still a mystery. It is still a mystery that Nigeria, one of the highest producers of crude oil, one of the products in the crude oil is this PMS and this the other one that we are still importing, and that none of our refineries can work. As if some people have signed the agreement that our refineries will never work. In such a way that will keep important. So
speaking about the reaction, you spoke about the reaction a lot. But what we also know, and which is likely going to happen because we've seen it before, some of these persons who are being mobilized, who are visiting, holding conferences, talking about, I dissociate myself, our group is not part of it. Some of them may be used to also hire persons who will, quote unquote, infiltrate the crowd. There will be counter protests on that day. There'll be several people who will mobilize against those who may be coming out to genuinely protest, who you talk about, just have your placards and all of those things. So we don't know what day, if at all, they will even come out on the first day. So if that scenario plays out, how would you advise?
If that scenario plays out,
because it will likely play out like that.
If that scenario plays out, is a failure of governance. It will still be a failure of governance. It will still be a failure on the part of our security agencies. Because all over the world, you see it in America, you see it in places, people are protesting. When people are protesting, the security agencies give them protection. They give them protection. So if the security agencies in the country, the DSS, the police, the army, they fail to give protection to the people who are protesting, it is failure of governance.
Yeah, but even in America, we have seen protests go all right.
Well, you can never. You don't need. You don't need 100% to have a distinction. If you have 80, so you don't expect that there's no perfection.
In terms of achieving at least some of these challenges that we're all facing in this country, if you go today for rentage, wherever, the cost is going up. Cost of living, food stuff, consistently going up. PMS too, the challenge is all there. And then the narratives coming from both camps, either from the government, who say we're doing certain things, and even this protest, even if it holds for that period, the question too will remain. Will anything really change?
Yeah, something will change. There will be a lot of change.
That will affect the cost of living, bring down this cost and these prices?
The problem we have is that there's misplacement of priorities. Some time ago, in the program here, the last time we discussed the issue of GMOs, I said, go and study the budget of all the parastatals and agencies in the Ministry of Agriculture. You will see that I did analysis of the National Cocoa Research Institute. There was a time the whole money that was used in developing Southwest came from cocoa. That Cocoa Research Institute, if you go and look at the budget of the Cocoa Research Institute, you will see that over 70% of what is in the budget for that Cocoa Research Institute has nothing to do with development of cocoa. It's unrelated things. So you see that and that is the way, most of the things, most of our national budget has veered. We have lost touch with reality.
I mean, today we have several development commissions. We don't know if it will bring development to different areas, but that's another subject for another day. We have to thank you for coming on. So maybe when we'll do a lot more research on that, we'll come up with several recommendations. Thank you very much indeed for coming on today.
So please, I want to appeal to the demonstrators. If you have cause to demonstrate, let it be peaceful.
All right.
And then secondly, the Inspector General of Police, the DSS, they have a duty. They have a constitutional duty.
Okay. To protect the people.
To protect Nigerians, whether you call them demonstrators or whether you call them people in government.
All right, then.
They enjoy the protection of everybody.
Business Money will be coming up on the hour.